Welcome back to my channel, everybody. So I'm going to continue on with this book, Benevolent Reptilian Hybrid Human, where I left off. Yes, this is very correct. The way that it is expressed is in truly great way. The constants and reality of physicality is exactly this. That is very important to put in good if you wish to receive good out in a positive way. It is the same with love. Whoever puts in love receives love. The law of attraction is what, as you said that it was called. Some have a very great understanding of this, but it is not to such a high degree. Some make it more difficult than it must be. This is why I enjoyed the way that this is expressed. Because it is simply put, because the law of attraction is very simple. Jefferson, I like reading a lot, so if I pick up some ideas that I remember from books, it is to provide more depth to our conversation, meaning that I may not remember the details of sources of all quotes or thoughts that I might share with you as I say them, but I will try to look for their sources for the readers later on. Yes, correct, Treb said. Jefferson, there is a book called An Autobiography, The Story of My Experiments with Truth, Gandhi, 1927, which is in a nutshell, life is not a series of events, but a series of revelations about truth. Now, what do you have to say about that, Treb? Yes, it is because I believe this is expressed from differences that some see in the way that life happens in these truths. I believe what is meant to be said here is that in life, to understand and to reevaluate about these truths, going to life, there are no accident, you might say. It is well played and thought out by the soul, and you have the choices of doing what you wish. And as you go through life, it is not what happens to you that matters. It is the way that everything exists in the way that you see the truth to be. You can have the event for one person and have one for the similar next to them, and they will both reveal them as separate truths, even though they see it as the same event. They are given separate truth of this. Some see things in a way to be negative. If you have an event that seems to you painful, then it is negative, but it always teaches its lessons. For instance, the one that I have explained several times before is if you are in a car accident and you are to break your leg, you lose your job or you are out of work for several months, and this tends to be very negative. But the truth that we see in the end is the truth that has brought your family closer to you because your wife or husband was afraid that you'd almost die. They tend to have a closeness or higher, more intense love connection with you. You meet a new person that is in the room next to you that you become friends for life with. Even in physical therapy, there are people that you come to meet who are great friends. You end up caring more about your health because you understand what it is to be in the hospital for several months. You start to believe that life is more important because you feel that you could have died in these ways. So, for one that is sure that this is a bad incident, the revelation, after all, is that it was a great experience. Even though one can see this as negative, there are always lessons to be learned from this. And I do believe this is more to the point of what is meant by this. Jefferson, yeah. Lovely. Yes, as you were saying that, I also agree, and I think that a series of revelations about the truth happens as we live our lives, right? Considering we get back what we put out? Yes, Treb said, Jefferson. Then we realize that whether this is within us room to believe in a higher power or not, the universe will not going to change, and the three first laws of creation will not going to change, as change will continue to be the only constant. So in that sense, if one believes in gravity or not, it is going to exist and it is going to be there. So in that sense, life is not a series of events, right? But a series of revelations about the truth. And it is not that there is one and only truth. There is us, we growing, and at each point, we being able to see what we couldn't see before. Treb said, yes, and this is the greatest thing in the revelation of the truth. To see the varying degrees of truth, it is also a great experience to see these things unfold in front of your eyes, if you will. This is a very important lesson in life, yes. Jefferson, so our relationship then to all that is that we learn how to handle ourselves in order to be able to exist in the higher densities. Treb, can you say this once again? The speaker of your technology is cutting out. Sure. So the relationship that we are learning on a daily basis with all that is that we, by experience, understand the love of creation and learn how to manage ourselves so that we can start existing on higher densities. Yes, it is much like the children learning things in school. Once you see that specific rules are set in place and you see that they work well for you, time after time after time. Jefferson, yes. Treb, then you are ready to move to the next grade. Yes, that is very good expression. It is much the learning. You have to see the way that things were very prevalent to you in order. If you do not have these experiences, if you do not have this growth from within, then the existence would be very boring or dull, as you might say, because you are experiencing the same thing over and over. But once you realize that this is of great importance to see that all of these 4 laws are truth, you can start using it for your benefit. You can start putting in good and seeing the response. You can see that there are always the change. These existence is true. Yes, you can see all of this and use this to your benefit. Use this to reflect the picture that you wish to have given back to you in not only the day-to-day existence, but in your true spirituality or true existence in general. Yes. Jefferson, in the book The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, 1923, advised to take a broader view of your life and recognize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. Now, we've been talking about a few minutes ago that physical and the spiritual are just 2 different sides of the same coin, right? Treb, yes. Jefferson, so, and in the metaphysical community, people also say a lot that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So connecting this to what you just said, there is then a progression, like a schoolroom, which we can call planets, where the souls go. And these schoolrooms and the grades are related to the soul's level of consciousness of scientific development. Yes, Treb said, the idea of the development within each existence when you spend it going through, whether it be every density, every incarnation, cycle, or just on a planet that you stay with to do this on, you are learning a different lesson. Jefferson, Treb, the Earth is one of the harder planets to go because of as we spoke of, the polarity, the great distance and polarities where one can kill and come home to love his mother or child, as we spoke of in previously. Yes, this is to such a great degree that it is not par for the course. So the Earth is one of the greatest classrooms to attend. It is one of the hardest to graduate from, if you will. So this is why I explained that once you go through this Earth process, the ones that go through the program or classroom of being on the Earth for their existence will learn a great deal from this. This is the greatest learning mechanism that we have, the day-to-day existence, and it is done that way for the soul's experiences. And as you said, it is 2 different sides of the same side of the coin. As you go through physical existence, your spirit will grow and develop as well from the experience that you manifest from the spiritual side of yourself, if this makes sense. Jefferson, so we live in a world then that we have to go through work, experience sorrow and pain, prosperity, freedom, good and evil, prayer, the divided self, and then the boundless self. Treb said, yes, correct. Jefferson, now do you in your world also have to work? You said you have careers, but do you have scheduled works, like jobs that you have to do? Treb, yes, these are responsibilities that go along with what we choose to do, yes. Jefferson, so it is you don't work in order for you to have the basic needs fulfilled? Basic needs for food, you mean? Yes, food, shelter, water, clothing. Treb, yes, the basic needs for all of us are taken care of from the work that we have all done. The basic needs in the ways of shelter and clothing, yes. Jefferson, did you know that we have technology on Earth today that can take care of the basic needs of every human being? Treb, yes, and this is the imbalance that I have spoken of previously. It is from the ones who wish to have money or control that there is no giving. All must come for a price, and the money system is set in this way for that reason, so that the ones who will be under control are do what is wished of them, to do that jobs that they do not love, that no one wants to do, but they feel that they must, yes. If they do not play ball, I believe it is the expression you use, they do not get things. And the technologies that you have is great enough to sustain your entire population, yet to the point where there be no hunger, no starvation, and so on. I understand that in the continent of Africa that you have. Jefferson, Treb, that many children and adults die from not eating. The simple basic need of food is not met. This shows a great imbalance, a thing that a society allow your fellow brothers, your fellow human beings, brothers and sisters to vanish because they are not able to get something as easily available as rice or corn or food. Even the food that you have, yes, this is a great sadness in this. Jefferson, you spoke about Africa. I wonder how much could people do for their planet if they were given appropriate education. Treb, would you repeat this, please? I think there wouldn't be any limits to what people could do for the planet if they were given relevant education. Treb said, yes, correct. If they were taught what they wish to do or what is important to be done, as I understand this, sometimes you must make a sacrifice of yourself for the better good in a way, maybe learning something that is second to that which you love is the first thing that you love is not immediately available to you. Anything with these goals, doing something that would have some sort of appreciation or love or any way that to give them basic education. Yes, things that are of this simple nature could increase the well-being and the productivity of all. And this is something that does not cost anything to provide as far as financial goals. You could have one person teach many standing outside in one of what you might say a public meeting area, or a park or an area, a building that is made for free. There are so many different ways, and others that use their knowledge, that use their capability to what they know how to do to help others. There is no limit in what can be done. The sky is the limit, that you would say. Simple things in the education and food, solar power. This is something that you have technology for now that is very, very simple to do, and you can provide the whole world with electricity. It is very easy to teach someone to do the drilling of wells for water for all. All of these are basic and simple things that should be given to everyone. There shouldn't be any need to have to earn a basic right for life. Jefferson, yeah, I think the work that we have to do today is also good in the sense that it helps people develop their abilities in order to serve humanity in some way. Even though they are working for money, the existence of a job or work to a society that is not evolved, it is important so they can work out scientifical, practical personal intelligence and better their abilities, so there's a positive side to work. Yes, Treb said. Now I would like to talk about the idea that I said about sorrow and pain, which are, to some degree, self-inflicted, right? Treb, yes. In this existence that you have, it is important to understand that you have to go through all sides of things. This is what the third density itself has the need to exist within polarities, as in polarized. You have to have the good and the bad so you can experience the growth. It is very important. When you go through the incarnation cycle, it is almost mandatory that you have to have love. You have to have hate. You have to be killed to be a father, to be a mother, all of these experiences, because the density is negative and positive. You cannot truly go to the next step unless you have experienced both. If you only have the positive experience, then there is no great need to go through anything else in the life of the one who is in the third density, but this is not true. The negatives and the positives both have to be experienced. It is said that you must experience great darkness to see great light. And Jefferson, yeah, so they say. Treb, this is not true for all, but it is very, very true in a deep way, subconscious way. Whether you understand it or not, you have experienced this. Even ones or those who say they have had the lives that are very great or perfect and that they are very well in the spiritual or mental way, this is true. But then at one point in the incarnation cycle from this entity, there was a negative experience because you must have them both. This is the purpose of the third density. Just as in the non-physical, it goes back to the negative and the positive. It is one expression that the host has heard in one part that greatly resonates with the idea I wish to express. And that is that if you are going into a room that is full of darkness and you take one light with you, you can easily overcome this darkness with the light. But when you go to the same room and it is covered in great light, you can never bring enough darkness to darken this light. Awesome expression, Jefferson said. Treb, even thought this is a great expression. What it does not go on to say is that you have to be in that dark room at one time in order to see how important the light is. That you never see darkness if you do not know how important the light is. If this makes sense to you. Sure it is. Like saying that there is no such thing as evil, that there is light and that there is absence of light, which is evil, which is actually lack of information. Evil doesn't really exist, as you said. Shine a light on evil or on lack of information, which can also be perceived as darkness, and it will disappear without resistance. Yes, Treb said. That is simple yet a powerful concept. Treb, yes, and this is a great expression that I enjoy from the host channeler mind from this idea. Rob, it is easy to take away the dark, which is the evil or the disconnection from higher self or from all that is, as you say, and to give that light is the ability to take away this disconnection, to give the light of knowledge. That love, this is a very great way to do this, but you must sometimes experience in this density the feeling of that disconnection so that you understand how important the connection is. Jefferson, so, Treb, the other big thing that we have here, and even for us to get on to the next level of evolution, which is to harness the power of our planet as an equal quality within a society that helps one another through the use of technology to create a self-sustaining planet. The next step is that sense would be to get over the idea of property because, it is all just like the prophet warned us it could be. He said, guard yourselves against the love of material things for these comforts erode the strength of our soul. What have you got to say about the idea of the love of things of this world? Treb, this is a great disconnector from your higher self, from who you truly are. This is how I describe the ego. It is one part of yourself that loves to be in the physical existence. It brings you to this when you start to care more about the material that you have, the physical things that you have, the land, the specific cars, houses you get carried away. All these things are important so you can live at some place, important so to have a way to get around, but once these become more important than anything else, Once these become ingrained as a part of you, once you have anything that becomes more important than who you are, you give these power to function in your life like the greatest disconnector of higher self. This is one reason that the drugs and the money, all of these things are used in society for disconnection. It is what disconnects you from your soul. So it is very great subject that you have just spoken of. It explains this very well. It is very important that you understand what you have as a material that is part of existence. It is part of all of it, all that is. So, in a way, this is part of you, but it is also a part of your neighbor. You are all one, and there is no reason to claim ownership about this. When you can stop worrying about doing 4 things or having the obsession about things, this can be a great benefit because you only have to worry about the benefit of the all instead of yourself. Because this is what it boils down to be. When you have material and things that are very extravagant, you claim them for yourselves, so there is no helping of others. And it is only the helping of yourself. It promotes service to self. It promotes greed. And this is something that you must relinquish from your daily life or society in general to be able to move on to the next step. Hey, Treb, there is a concept you just helped me to create here in my mind with that explanation of yours. Treb said, what is it? We go through life on Earth and we learn that we must strive to survive. We must work ever harder and that those who have the most are the best. And then we can go through life longing for a sort of freedom, which is not outside of us. Yet that longing for freedom becomes itself a kind of slavery. Yes, this is a great realization. Yes. Jefferson, because you think you don't have everything. And then once you go look for it and work hard for it, and why not fight for it, you eventually get it. Then once you have it, it is no longer enough for you. Because now you raise your level of comfort, your lifestyle, the things that you like now are more expensive. They are farther from your reach. So now you have to go work even harder and do worse things to yourself, to others, and to your planet in order to satisfy a manufactured desire, right? A desire that didn't need to exist to begin with. Treb, yes, this is very correct. When you are doing this, when you are longing for more, you can't receive everything that you have. And as you say this, there's always more to get. So if you are chasing your tail, so to say you are chasing or running in a cycle race that will never be won, this is a great realization. Once you disconnect yourself from having all these things, this is when you can grow inside. The physical world is brought or is part of one of the worlds that disconnected from being who you are in the higher self, or just into your higher point of consciousness. And this is why ones that you might consider to be great spiritual people on your planet, the monk or the nuns, the priests, all of these people give away what they have so that they can live a life without the need or greed for material things. So they do not have that as a temptation or a retractor or a blockage of the way that your energy and spiritual power can go through. It can be fully explained and grasped. So in other words, don't allow your vanities to sabotage your life purpose. Treb, yes, this expresses the idea in a great way, because all this does is put you to doing things that you are not necessarily in best shape to do, and it is a great race for nothing, as you said before. It is something that you can get, and it does not help others. It only helps yourself to have all these things. If you are getting all of these things to share them with others, this is different, but this is not the way that it is done. If you do not feel that you can have them for yourself, then it is a feeling of emptiness or lack, and this is not what motivates or makes a race evolve. Jefferson, there is a small little book on our planet, Treb. It is called Siddhara, and it says in a nutshell that instead of striving for great spiritual heights, we should gain peace and power from the acceptance of life as it is. Now, when people say accept life as it is, there are 2 sides to that I would like to discuss with you here. Treb, yes. One side is to do nothing that you are able to do and ignore the power that you have, which would be a negative attitude to have towards this idea. Now, the positive attitude to have towards this idea then would be accept life as it is in the sense that you are just getting back what you put out. Now work harder on yourself so tomorrow it can be different. Yes, I understand what you mean with this. The differences in these 2 are great. I see what you mean with this. The first idea that you spoke of, can you repeat the sentence one more time? I do believe I got the concept, but I am not sure of the wording of it. Sure. It is said, instead of striving for great spiritual heights, gain peace and power from the acceptance of life as it is. Treb, yes, thank you. It is exactly as you said from before. If you understand the true nature and the rules of the cosmos or the universe or physical existence at all, yes, you do see that what you put out and what you get out is what you get out. So if you accept this, you do understand this, yes. I see the concept that you are making here, yes. Great, yes, of great habits. Now, do we have great habits that build our society and build our characters, but we also have bad habits? Treb said, yes, I did not mean great in the way of awesome, but great in the way of many habits, yes. Oh, I see. So in the sense of having many habits that do not assist us or support us in going where we would be better off at. The idea of habits, all this is an acceptance within yourself to repeat something. Discomfort with changing things. Treb. And so the greatest way to avoid this is to see reality for what it is. If you wish to have a happy existence, you must look at your belief systems. And once you see your belief systems are set up in the way that you must repeat the negative things that you are doing, then you must try to explain to yourself, try to rebuild your thought structure, your permanent and core beliefs. You must understand that when you change this is a very difficult way to do this. It is a difficult thing to do, but it is something that should be done if you wish to have an existence with no habits that are bad or actions that do not promote evolution of yourself. So what you have to do is you have to understand the way reality is. The 4 laws you've spoken of are a great guide for this. But also you must look down and see all of the things that you are doing that are the bad habits, the ones that are not productive or that are stopping the evolution within yourself. Examine this, and once you see that these are not healthy in ways of promoting growth within yourselves, the first step is already taken, acknowledgement. Once you understand this, you need to work on ingraining this in your life, and the way that you do this is when something works, you continue to use it. You continue to go for what works. If it does not, you must try to remind yourself that this is an impediment of your progress. The whole idea is that when you are ready to progress, when you are ready to drop these bad habits, you will have the motivation to do so because you will be tired of having the failures or the bad parts of the habits that you speak of, the consequences of those in your life. So it is one of personal choice. Once you understand that you have to use your own consciousness and soul to revise these habits, this is a great starting point. And every time inject this new system in them, you must put in through yourself in the way of beliefs. If you have a belief that is false, then get rid of this. Replace with one that seems to be better. If one is not better, then replace with another one. You will finally see that when you put in the good and you stop living in the habits that are self-destructive, then you will progress. When you see the progression within itself, this is a great motivator to continue or to examine other bad behavior or bad habits. Jefferson, hey, there are some spiritual teachers on planet Earth that say that a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. Yes, that is true. So in order to change a belief, you just have to change your thoughts. Yes, laughter. It is a very great way to see this. Jefferson, so once you change your thoughts about an idea and you keep thinking that new thought, you will have a new belief towards that particular issue. Yes, and then you examine that belief by letting it manifest into reality to see if it works. Yes. So other people say that in order for you to kill a habit, you must be able to educate yourself. Yes. And make yourself clear about the prize in the end of the road, because if you can see the price is not hard to pay, You become someone willing to pay the price when the prize is big. Yes is what you see. The carrot that is in front of the rabbit, if you will. Treb, is that in front of the rabbit or the donkey? Laughter. Treb, when you see this, you understand that the final result is best, but it takes wanting as well. You have to want to have this prize in order to be able to overcome the issues that you are going through as well. I understand that not all habits are easily broken or even addictions, but you change this in the way to the bigger things. If you have a personality or a part of you that is easily addicted or addicted behaviors, use this to your benefit. Use this addictiveness for benefit instead of saying, I want to eat and I want to do this, then use it to, I want to help people and use this to your benefit instead of to your detriment. Yes. It is true that when we allow ourselves to help other people, we forget that we have problems because we see what problems really are, right? Yes, this is true. When you express this through, this is very true. The host does this as much as he can to help others because it tends to give you a relief of the heart. It tends to make things that you might have issues with seem to disappear because you are giving of yourself. When you give of yourself, you are also giving away all the negative energy that you have as well. Not giving it to the ones you help in that sense, but giving it away off of yourself. So this is a great way to do this. Jefferson. So back to the idea of the carrot. Say you are a donkey and someone puts a carrot in front of you, right? Yes. And then you understand, a carrot doesn't really move you any longer as it did in the past. So what I'm saying then is that it is your job, your responsibility to then change the carrot for something else that would move you inside so you can go forward. Yes, exactly. This is a great way to express this as well. When you look at this in a greater way, everyone is aware of what they want in their lives, what they want to be better. But to truly examine this is the way that will benefit the most because you see that the prize is different. Every obstacle you overcome will have a different prize. And this is what moves most people at one specific starting point. If they have many problems, they start at one for one of two reasons. One of them is because it is easier to do one than the other, or to do two, the prize in the end of it is much greater. So whichever word's for your benefit, this is fine, as long as you are doing what it takes to get this done. Jefferson, and self-honesty is that sense would be a key for you to find guidance from within. Very good. Now, Treb, we've spoken a lot about in-depth ideas. We are approaching the end of this chapter. I would like to ask you now to tell us some extraordinary things, some extraterrestrial things, things about your planet. For instance, who created your world? Treb, who created our world? Yeah, was it God? Was it a highly evolved spiritual being? Who was it? Treb, the way that this works in our planet itself. It was created through the manifestation of a non-physical being. Oh, okay. When a world is created, it is created through two levels. From a physical way and from a non-physical way, just as the thoughts that you make. The expressions that you have within your consciousness are created. The planets are created as well. When it comes to the planet itself, whether it be any planet, this are all created from a consciousness that is higher than the one that you consider to be a soul. Okay. When you have a soul, this is what you would consider one of the first level of the non-physical existence. This is where your higher self is. Above this is your collective consciousness, and within this collective consciousness, there are many groups and different connections or group entities. The levels that is right above this is where the ones who manifest themselves as planet, whether it be a group consciousness for living planets or a singular consciousness for one planet. This is where this manifests from. But they manifest themselves in the ways that the Earth did, as you would see in a linear fashion. Okay? The elements that come together. So you see this is in two different ways. In one way, it is a physical existence, a physical coming together of this planet with material and gravity, using the different forces of nature. I see. But on the other level, it is a consciousness that has manifested itself into this planet. So it is just as everything. There's a non-physical and a physical level within. I see. And in our planet, the four forces that integrate our planet, as far as we know, are four, and they are gravity, electromagnetism, radioactivity, and the nuclear force. Anyways, Treb said yes, that are in your planet. The forces that are commonly known in the realm of physics. Yes, the gravity and the electromagnetism and the atomic forces, the weak and the strong ones, yes. Now, where are you located right now? Where am I at this moment? Yes, I am on the planet as well. I am in my house dwelling. I see, and what do you see in front of you? I am sitting on what might be considered to be a chair. I am sitting in the room where our family gathers. So right now I see the wall. It is given many colors as a decoration, and it is given the colors that you see as red, violet, and blue, and it is almost as you might paint a wall. This is expressed and done from the children to express themselves in this way, almost in an artistic way, an artist, would you say. They express themselves this way. I am sitting in with two of the younger children. And Jefferson says, yes, I see them here as well as they are sitting. It is not a very complex living area. Okay. It has the walls that are there. There are not flat walls, but rounded. It is very simple structure. Jefferson, when you leave your home, how far do you need to walk in order to get to the first public transportation? It is one that we all have our own personal transportation, not in the way of personal, but we each have our own for our families to us to get in the areas that are more populated. There are not many of what you might say cities, but there are a few major places where all in our planet tend to gather and large events or different things come together. So when you leave your house, you have like a car outside waiting for you. Yes, it is not a car, but yes, it is transportation. It is one. Remember when I explained about my wife's brother, about how he travels? Yeah. It is a small transport like this. Yes. I see. Is it like a spacecraft that is small? Yes, very small. It can fit 2 people in the driving area. Yes. Does it go on the ground like ours, or is it just flies? Yes, it flies. We do not need to take this to any high elevation, and this is fairly not very hilly or mountainous region as some of yours. We do have mountain ranges, but these are not close. These are all far away. We tend to travel very low, close to the ground, as you would see. Almost in your idea of perhaps the hovering craft, one of these. But it is not as low as what your hovering crafts would hover like. And has how many, Jefferson, and has any craft crashed against another at all? As hitting against, like in car accidents that you have? Yeah. No, this does not happen, no. How come? Jefferson says. They are designed with technology that are not, if they are coming too close together, it pushes out electromagnetic field that is around it. So it isn't able to hit each other. It is the field that would hit. I see. Now talking about that, when we meet the first society on planet Earth, I believe they will help us with the idea of technology, don't you? Yes, it will help you understand yours to a great degree, but it is also not very common to share great amounts of technology. Oh, For instance, in the density that I am from, if I want to go back into the time that our race was originally into the fourth density, the technology would be much greater. So we do not share technology to a degree that is more than what they have readily available to them, or that they already have a basic understanding of. It goes for the same reason that you do not want to evolve faster or in a different area, but you can give them enough of what is helpful of what they already have that will benefit them as a race. Jefferson, so it is almost as if the extraterrestrial beings wanted to respect our level of development, help us out, and yet allow us to be responsible for what we do, so we can also take the credit for it? Yes, it is not only a way of respect, but it is a way of the idea of natural progression, and this is why we do not interfere with races when they are not ready. It is a great belief in our society, very much so, that technology is not shared to a great degree, unless the need is great and the free will is there from all. Oh, I see. I understand. All right. So I thank you very much for today's ideas and thoughts that you shared with us. Treb, yes, you are very welcome. Jefferson, would you tell me if any of the children or both of them that are around you would like to tell us something from their minds or their hearts? Yes, give me one moment and I will ask them. Sure. Treb, yes. The youngest of the children that we have, which is my daughter, she's very shy. She just wishes to say hello. Jefferson, cool. Treb, and the one that is older than her, which is a female daughter, she wishes to say that she is one day hoping to come to our planet and speak to you. And she is interested in sharing ideas and her love with you. This is the basic idea, yes. Whoa, tell them I thank them very much. How about your oldest son? Where is he now? He is gone for now. He is on the ship. He is heading towards, do you recall when I spoke to you about a meeting we were having with the feline? Yeah, feline, yes. Entities that are the beings that are almost to a cat degree. Yes, I remember. The feline hybrid beings, yes. They're going there to lend support in the way of love and going to go there to see how everything is going on their planet, whether it is going as well as it should be, but much as we do to you on your planet there. I see, so they don't start open contact with them yet? No, this will not happen for some time. So, Treb, it was agreed that it is too early in the progression of things, but we are not completely able to make this decision on our own. We must speak to the other sectors of what we call the galaxy councils, the Galactic Council. There are many decisions, but this is not up for us as a race. It is up for us as a collective group or a race. Races. Jefferson, and so within the protocols that you have, you are able to communicate with them as you are communicating with us, for instance? Yes, to a great degree. It is similar to yours, yes. And so do they have channelers there? It is not as channeling as in the way that is done here through the host. It is more in a way of a telepathic communication. They have the leaders, or what you and your ancient tribes might consider to be a holy man, something in the way of this, and he is given the vision by a telepathic communication. He gives out to the tribe or the group that he is within what the visions are, and it is highly accepted because he understands his connections. Jefferson, okay, well, there is a lot of life to be lived in the universe, huh? Yes, there's a great amount of life in the creation. Very well. This is why the interest in communication with all of you is high for me, because this gives me great joy. Jefferson, very well then. Do you have any parting thoughts, my friend? Treb, just for everyone to continue to make your own reality and do this by love. Do this by the way of helping others. Be in service to others, for when you help others, you tend to help yourself and the planet as a whole, and this is a great idea. It is what we have spoken of today. Jefferson, fantastic. I thank you very much, and I thank your daughters and everybody from your planet that is directly or indirectly involved with our communication, the teachings that you have given us. Treb, yes, as they wish love to be sent to you too as well. Thank you for your part in this, of sharing communication with many others. And thank you all for joining me today. Till next time.